This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Anyway, although talking to a big cheese pizza is delicious.
It is a good conversation to have, right?
Yeah. It's not. There's not going to be a lot of conversing going on. But anyway, for a man that is deliberate and takes his time to make decisions, I don't know what that defensive coordinator did, but he really pissed him off because, boy, the season was over and immediately they fired Guidry's ass. That was like, whoa, wait a minute. Normally you take 8 years to make this decision in the offseason. Talk to us, Manny. What went on? They got rid of him quickly.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those painful situations, the way the season ended for Mario, where you lose 3 of your last 4, you miss the playoff, you give up 42 points in each of the last 2 games. Where that decision was probably made even before the bowl game, where Mario was already beginning to entertain, who he was going to go after, what conversations he was going to have, and so I think that's basically what happened there, and so the Band-Aid was ripped off quickly, and you know what? Knowing Miami, knowing the way they operate, whenever there's a bad news story out there, and let's face it, there was a bad news story out there after the Pop-Tarts Bowl because of what happened with Cam Ward. What's the best way to change the narrative? Flip the page, right? Go to the next story. And so that instantly became the story. And so to me, I think the timing was all basically a process of that.
So where do they go now for defensive coordinator? Because this is also a black eye on Mario. He struggles to put together a good staff every year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it happened to him at Oregon. He went through a couple of different coordinators too, and look, I thought Guidry did a good job a year ago. This year, didn't have the horses in the secondary, and was absolutely horrible. Just could not get those guys.
Watching Maui Noah regress was also kind of disturbing too. That some of your players weren't actually progressing; they were regressing, and that wasn't good either.
Yeah, and that cost them recruits. I mean, I just came back. I was in Orlando. I stayed there for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and then I covered the Under Armour All-American game, and I talked to guys, and the way Miami's defense played cost them players in the recruiting world, cost them, one of the best linebackers in the country. To see, Maui Noah regress the way that he did, to see the defense struggle the way it did. So it was costly. And that's what I tried to tell people all season every time you and I had conversations, right? Because this recruiting thing gets so crazy. These kids commit as juniors and sophomores, and, can you hold on to them all the way until the end? It's a difficult process. But how bad Miami's defense was cost them players and cost them progress. And so, look, the offense was sensational. You had one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Miami finally had an elite quarterback, after all those decades of having bad ones. And you let the defense go. And that's the trick in college football, man. You got to put a complete team together. And I think if you look at the 4 finalists right now, the four semifinalists in college football, all 4 of those teams can play defense. And I think until Miami gets back to playing that elite style defense, you can score a bunch of points. You can't stop anybody. You're not going to win anything important.
Yeah, you got to get some stops, man. And to me, and again, I'm already now on the record. I was wrong about Mario. I don't know if this changes anymore now. The way what I've seen from 3 years, I am not impressed whatsoever how he handles game day, how his teams are unprepared, undisciplined. It frustrates me. He can't build a staff. And then the Cam Ward situation. And I have so many questions about it. Like, first of all, did you negotiate an NIL deal that said you only played a half? And if you did, one, as a school, why would you agree to that? 2, if you're a player, why would you even attempt to do that? That's stupid to put your career at risk for a couple of extra bucks. You're going to the NFL, dude. You'll make that money back. You're going to be drafted pretty damn high, so you're going to get some money. And then on top of all of that, you don't tell anybody. You kind of surprise everybody with it. I thought it was managed so poorly. And then it also tells me as a coach, you're not confident enough in your abilities to say, you know what, Cam, let's turn the page. Let's see if Williams can handle this. Let's prepare him for the next month. Let's get him ready for this moment. and we get to really find out about him a little bit more. But you either didn't have confidence, and when he came in, you weren't much of a coach or a team at that point either, which, by the way, doesn't give me a lot of hope for next year either, because all of a sudden now you're going to need to find another Cam Ward to like erase all your faults to get to where you were this year. That's going to be odd. I just thought it was all mishandled, misrepresented, and I thought people made bad decisions there, including Cam Ward. Playing a half, I don't think was very intelligent on his part with his future.
Well, this is the problem when you don't have transparency in sports, right? You don't have transparency in college football right now. We don't know what NIL contracts say. We don't know how much guys are getting paid. We don't know what's written into these contracts. And again, I just to refresh the listeners, I just spent a full day at the Under Armour All-American camp talking to All-Americans about money and how much they're making and what their NIL deals say. We don't know what's written into these contracts. And I do think part of it is incentive based, right? Like how you perform. I also think part of it now, especially for coaches like Mario Cristobal, who want guys to play through the bowl game, right? Because it may not count. Nobody may care, right? Like the NFL scouts certainly don't care whether or not a guy plays in a bowl game anymore. They probably prefer he
no, that has nothing.
That has nothing to do with it.
That was some stupid shit people were writing. Yes. Teams are going to worry. Bro, did you see Christian McCaffrey, you idiot? He was the guy that started it. If anybody would have been affected, it would have been him because he broke the ice, and nobody gave a shit. Come on, dude.
No, well, that just tells you how stupid and out of tune people really are that don't have their ear to the grindstone and don't work these beats at all and know anything. But what I will tell you, is that knowing Mario, knowing Miami, knowing a lot of people who have given money to this school in particular, I'm willing to bet there was written into contracts, every single one of these guys who came in, hey, we need you for the bowl game. Show up to the bowl game. Okay? And let's not forget something. Xavier Restrepo didn't play in this game. When did Xavier Restrepo come in? Xavier Restrepo came in during the Manny Diaz years. So who knows what's written into his NIL deal and when. So I think part of this is, timing, right? When these deals were signed and what was agreed to. Certainly, I think playing for the record was important to Cam. I think, getting that record, the most touchdowns at the Division I level, passing touchdowns, mattered to him. But I also know that knowing Mario, he needed to get a look at what Emory Williams looked like. But just be honest about it and say that going into the game. The problem with all of these coaches like Mario, like Nick Saban and everybody else is they want to put up a front that they're these guys who all believe in hard work and nobody gets special treatment and we don't, bend the knee for anybody. And this is all about building culture and team and all this stupid crap that doesn't matter anymore. Because we live in professional sports now. This is not amateur sports anymore. Guys jump into the transfer portal to raise their financial stock. They want to hold the schools hostage and say, pay me or I'm leaving. That is the world we live in now. Playing for your university because you love your school does not exist anymore. Does not. Everybody's out to make money. So this is a mercenary sport. It is professional sports. And stop acting like it. Stop acting like it's college and everybody's all for the team and all this stuff that doesn't matter. And once Mario gets over that and starts acting the way that everybody else does in this business, where you have to treat this like a business, those type of things won't happen. And that's why that happened. It happened because Mario just didn't come out and say, hey, Cam's going to play a half. This is what we agreed to, so he makes his money, and we're going to get a look at our young quarterback in the second half. Just say it.
And by the way, that was not a good look. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, is there another Cam Ward available for you in the portal? Because if you can't find a magic man, you're not going to have even the same season you had this year.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
the coaching staff has not proven to be that kind of difference maker. I'm just saying.
No, and listen, Emory Williams, God bless that kid. He gave up his left arm a year ago for Miami in that Florida State game, and he certainly won over a lot of teammates. But I'm not sure what anybody was looking at when they go back and watch the film of those two games. Emory Williams is not an elite quarterback. He's not even close to that. He is a backup quarterback, a guy that needs to be developed, and it's obvious that he is nowhere near the level of Cam Ward. And so you have to, and I said this to you weeks ago, it would be coaching malpractice for Miami not to look in the portal. Now, they haven't gotten anybody yet. Okay. That's not to say that they have been slow on the trigger in finding somebody.
Does Wait a minute. Does it help or hurt them that you had a Heisman Trophy candidate and you couldn't even get in the playoffs? You couldn't get into the ACC championship game. You couldn't win the ACC championship. You underachieved. I wonder if the Cam Ward experience was fun for all of us, but for the coaching staff, was it successful long term? Is it going to help you land the next guy? Or did the next guy say, shit, dude, yeah, he put up some stats, but they didn't do anything. They didn't win anything.
Listen, there's different layers to this onion, right? I think certainly you need proof of concept as a coach. And Mario was facing a lot of backlash saying he was a quarterback killer. Well, now he's got a season where he was able to bring somebody in, and statistically, that guy turned himself into a first-round pick by coming here, right? So you have proof of concept. Now, everything else is the number one quarterback available in free agency always going to pick Miami based on that? Probably not, because every guy wants something different. In Cam Ward's situation, this is a guy who was a zero-star recruit, played at Incarnate Word, played at Washington State. Going to Miami was a leap up for him. But we're talking about guys now that may want to leave Alabama or Texas or Ohio State. Are they going to come to Miami when they know that this program hasn't won diddly shit in over 20 years?
Probably not.
So it's just a matter of perspective here. Oh, they will get a quarterback. They will get somebody who is interested to come in and want to play quarterback because they had success this season. Are they going to get the best guy again? Probably not. And so that's why this coming season is so important, because now what Mario has to prove in year 4 is all of these great recruiting rankings and everything that we've done for the last 3 years, that has to mean something. What you were building for the last 3 years has to mean something. And if you go back to 7-5 or 8-4 and 6-6 because you don't have a star quarterback who can pull you out of that, then you're a failure as a coach. And that's what people are going to say about Mark. I don't have to say that. Everybody else will say it for me, because that's what he will have been. He will have been 7-6, 5-7, whatever the hell he was the first year, and then whatever next year is without Cam Ward. And that's what people are going to say about him. So this is about whether or not Mario Cristobal is really a program builder. And next year, they have to be really good on defense. Whoever the coordinator is, they have to have all those young defensive linemen, all those linebackers, all the guys that you've spent recruiting the last 3 years. Those guys have to develop into something. And if they don't, I can't protect you. Nobody here, no talking head can protect you and convince the fan base otherwise.
And why would they? Don't forget, folks, at Caneswear, you can find anything and everything practically with a Canes logo. Great Inter-Miami gear, Florida Panthers gear, Miami Heat gear. Maybe they're even going to discount some of the Jimmy Butler gear. Go check it out. Miami Marlins, take it out, man. Miami Fanwear, that's what it's all about. Caneswear at Miami Fanwear, 2565, right? Or 2650. What is it? 2565. South University Drive in Davie. Okay, because I get is it 26 or 2565? Either way, it's right one next to the other. It's right next to La Spada. Put it that way. So get some Caneswear stuff, then get some La Spada, and you're off and running. It's a beautiful thing. Use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.